Welcome to the ANF Academy.
Thank you.
Glad to have you here again.
Thank you.
So how do you feel? How does it feel being back?
It's like being back home.
Santu just said that, but I want to know why. Because many therapists and your instructors say it's like their second home, but why is that?
I think that's how ANF embraces you. You come here not just only a student, you're part of the family, and we start with so much care and love and respect, and we feel like it's family. It's really family. We build up a nice, like nice friends. Every time you come here, you meet your colleagues, and sometimes like we had spoke so many times through forum or one helping each other that we kind of know each other sometimes even without meeting, and it's just like coming here. It's just like really being home.
How does it feel having that kind of strong bonds with your peers from all over the world?
Yeah, that's again, it's the sense of belonging. It's a sense of, I know I can count on them. I can know if I have a case that I can't sort it out, I have someone that I can run to. It's like a kid that runs to the mom. That's having Miko and having our colleagues is the big brothers and things that we can just run into and ask for help or help them on. So it's a really nice feeling.
And therapists, healthcare professionals are not used to that, right?
No, but I think the ones who really are looking into, looking for resolving the issues from a deep core, the ones that are all passionate. I think it's a passion thing. ANF, it's not easy. It's not for everyone, I say, because it's an effort to think. It's an effort to, you have to be constant present. You have to be always refreshing. The reason why we're also coming loads here. But it's amazing because that there is your answers, that it's your place, and you can always get better and better and better. So. But
how would your practice be like if you didn't have ANF in your toolbox?
Boring, I have to say. I almost gave up on physiotherapy many years ago because, my whole health history, I always been searching for answers for my own health, and medical school never actually gave me answers. They gave me solutions but not answers. And I always ask why, since a kid. I was like always why, but why? And I know a lot of kids do, but I always had this digging in of why, and I don't accept it, just because it's like this. No, but why? So, at one point physiotherapy, and my main goal with physiotherapy, and when I got into the healthcare, was to relieve pain. That think of a frozen shoulder, you have to break adhesions and really go through, and the patient is screaming and you carry on, and then the patient comes back and say, I have more pain. I'm like, this is not right. I want to go deeper. So I went to study osteopathy, did doctorate in osteopathy, have been through so many courses, but nothing really gave the answers. But suddenly Miko's like, it's like this and this, and what? You 35 years of searches, and you suddenly tell me all the answers. So nowadays I have to say I struggle to treat patients that doesn't really want to have ANF, because I'm like, I don't want to keep putting band-aids. And I normally tell patients, I'm like, you have a choice. We can put a band-aid if that.
So do you want to tell me that only with ANF you can provide desired results?
Yeah.
So they can experience pain reduction within the first session?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's. I say that after starting with ANF, I left miracles on a daily basis, and that's actually what I think our mission in the healthcare is.
Yeah.
Sorting out patients. We have patients who come in a wheelchair and leave walking. Patients who could.
In the first session?
Yeah, I had a recently case. I have a lady who comes all the way from Philippines to be treated, and she came. She couldn't bend her knee at all. Like osteoarthritis, really bad for more than 30 years, and she came because her daughter was her daughter had a chronic lower back pain. The chronic back pain was gone in 3 sessions. 8 years of back pain was gone in 3 sessions. So she said, I'm going to bring my mom, but she has 30-something years of knee osteoarthritis. She had done PRPs and injections, hyaluronic acid, and she doesn't get better. It's temporarily. So I'll bring her here. The first session, she was, of course, in a lot of pain, couldn't bend the knee, especially the right knee. So we put the discs on. She sits and her knee bends, and she's like, what is that? She stands up and she's like, I can run a marathon, I feel so good. And she walked.
But how do you feel when you see their reaction?
Again, there is, you know, like we can't explain. There is a fulfillment and you know, mission accomplished. That's why I studied, and that's why my passion was. That's why I always wanted, is to help people in pain. And
so now you regained your purpose again.
Yes. Since 2017 with my own health, and I literally cannot stop.
Were there any challenges that ANF helped you overcome? Except your own health.
My own health was the biggest one for sure. But for sure, like I think that the frustrations of wanting to know more and wanting answers to be answered, that was a frustration and anger that used to be in my life for many years. And of course, ANF helped me to overcome. But yeah, and again, making me think. I said to Dr. Miko, I said, we have a love and hate relationship, because the first course I used to hate him, but he made me feel so good, and until today.
But for what reason? Because he gave you the answers you were looking for a long time.
But I was so frustrated how this man, how no one ever explained me that much, and how this man, in like 3-4 days, tells me all that I looking for in years. So yes, I think it's a constantly, with ANF, it's a constantly, and also with patients, you know, things that you think you're not able to help anymore, you lose your hope, and then suddenly you go helping them beyond. So yeah, I think it's a journey.
Can you tell me a case scenario that take you a long time to achieve a goal, but now with ANF you can obtain desired results much faster?
With patients, I think, I think frozen shoulders is one of them, and I think any therapists listen to us now will relate to that, because it's a, you know, I used to see a frozen shoulder coming, and I'm like, oh my goodness, there it comes, you know, 6 months treatment and no much gain, but now in one session you can regain the full range of motion.
In one
majority of the time, yeah.
And how would they react when they see that?
Well, it's interesting. I have one of my first patients with frozen shoulder was an engineer, and he didn't believe, and he said no.
He asked many questions.
Yeah, and because I still do hands-on, you know, like as Nico do, we all do. So I did all the tissue release, I work on mobility, and I said, now we're gonna put the discs. So I put the discs, and he was not believing. And of course, he didn't believe. And as he said, for next session, I'm going to keep this in because I feel so good and I have movement. But for next session, I want you to don't do any hands-on. And you're going to just put the discs. And I'm like, fair enough. Let's do that. And I did. And it was very funny because he was like, I have the video that he allowed me to share. But he was like, no. Take it off.
To see the difference.
To see the difference. And I took it off and he was like, put it back. And I put it back and he's like, these things really work. So yeah, and we get reactions like that every day. So
yeah, but there are many skeptics everywhere.
It is, and what I always tell them, I was a skeptical one. I mean, Dr. Miko, every time he gives me one of the certificates, he says, from my most skeptical student, and I know that's me going. Because of course, it's hard, and especially after surgeries and years of, you know, having to take morphine and medications, and you suddenly like, these little things can do that for me without taking any chemicals and without actually cleaning my body. No. So I started like that. But what I say to my patients is like, you have to be skeptical for sure. We have to ask questions and doubt things in life in order to grow, but you have to be open. You know? So believe without believing and doubt without completely doubting. So be open and try. And again, if it not works, perhaps you're not ready for it yet, because also life we have time for everything. So
what did you learn here in the ANF Academy that no other tool or therapy showed you?
Again, finding the root cause. Physiological explanations. When we study in medical school, you study histology, pathology, physiology, pharmaco. We have to inject animals and stuff and do lab tests and stuff, but the dots were never connected. Why am I learning this? How does A, B, and C together form the full system in the body? You know, unfortunately, we've been training to, and thank God, functional medicine and other things are coming up now that has a little bit more this big picture, but we never were able to connect the dots, and that's what Miko suddenly does, and it's so amazing. You see, oh, if I connect here to here, boom, the magic happens.
Why is gaining advanced palpation skills so important?
What is it?
Gaining advanced palpation skills. Because ANF therapists, they don't use any machines, right? So they need to use their hands.
Oh yeah. No, definitely. One of the things as well, Dr. Miko used to say, you have to be able to do surgery with your hands. And I'm like, okay, I did, 5 years of medical physiotherapy with medical school. We do a lot of palpations. I did osteopathy. How? I don't know how to palpate these things that he's showing me. Which anatomy and which palpations course I've been through. But it's fascinating how your hands can tell you and how your hands guide it. And when your hands really connected to your brain and you're just there with the patient, it's starting this whole touching and your brain is going, okay, this is needing carnosine, there is
it's
connecting and it's amazing. Really, the surgery with the hands, it's really a true thing, because that's what you learn here.
But it's the most important part before applying the devices.
Oh, that's for sure. There is another thing Dr. Miko said, I always repeat to my patients and to especially my students. I said, if you didn't get better, you didn't find the root cause. And that I keep as a legacy to carry, find the root cause, and that's your hands that are gonna find it.
Otherwise, you're just masking the symptoms.
Exactly.
Do you have something to say to those that never heard of ANF therapy, or they wanna start education but they haven't made the decision yet?
Yeah, I would say again, it's not for everyone. But if you're passionate and you feel like you really want to help people, bring a back quality of life, if you want to, look for the root cause and treat from there, that is for you. So be open, ask questions, that's fine. Miko is used to the skepticals too, but it's something that you have to try to understand. It's impossible to just look at and judge it. We have no idea how these little discs can make a difference in the physiology, deeper into a cellular level of patients. So if you haven't decided yet, do not miss, because it's a life change.
How has ANF therapy impacted your clinic income?
That's a good question. I think it's for sure, we have to buy the discs, and it's initial money that you have to invest to have the discs. But once you start working with ANF and people see results, I mean, thank God my agenda, my schedule was always full, but I never had 3-4 months of waiting list.
That's impressive.
And people fighting to, I'm waiting for too long, please. That is a good reassurance that, you know, like you have, knowing that you have people waiting for a treatment, and
that means you're
and
doing
that
something
means
very good.
you're doing something
You're
very
helping
good.
them.
You're helping people, and as I always say, is, you know, when you do things good and when you're doing the right thing, money just comes. And I think with ANF it's even more reassuring that, you know, having the peace of mind of laying down when I said my agenda is full for 3 months. That's my income for the next 3 months, full as well. So yeah, that is really amazing.
Thank you, Renata, for this
You're
interview,
welcome.
and I
Thank
hope I'm
you.
going to see you here again.
Yeah, soon, hopefully.